Once upon a time, you were told that the flood was sent to wipe away evil from the earth. But what if we told you that the flood wiped away something else? Something that wasn't evil but genius and more advanced than any earthly species could ever be? Yes, humans and animals were not the only ones destroyed in the flood. There is evidence that the catastrophe also extinguished a sinister advanced civilization. Who is this advanced civilization? Is there any evidence that they existed before the flood? And more importantly, did the floodwaters entirely abolish their remains? In the 19th century, a strange idea fanned the papers. Of all the theories cooked up by researchers, this one hit the spot the most. And it all started with an archaeologist named Augustus Le Plongeon. This was a researcher who spent a bulk of his career studying Mayan ruins and establishing arguments about the ancient Yucatan and Egyptian civilizations. But after a while, Le Plongeon decided to play it big. He declared that there was a mother civilization, one that preceded even the Mayan civilization. But was there any proof of his claim? The answer is no. But the lack of proof was only for a short while. A British writer by the name James Churchward soon came along with solid evidence. During his time serving as a soldier in India, Churchward encountered a top-tier priest who showed him the unspeakable, tablets that were written by the Mu civilization themselves. Can you believe that? The information on these tablets cemented the idea that Mu was no fairy tale, but a vast continent that housed technology beyond that of humans. But beyond the description passed on by James Churchward, historians asked for more evidence. It made no sense to bank on a single testimony from a priest and an archaeologist. In response, other researchers began to connect the dots, and when they finally did, the results left them speechless. Enter the Moai statues of Easter Island. These are gigantic stone statues of human figures erected by the Rapa Nui people of Easter Island. But when you observe these statues, you realize one thing. They are not ordinary. They were built with such advanced techniques that still make modern engineers marvel at the precision. And to think that these were built millions of years ago. This brings up the floating question. What if the statues are a remainder from the aftermath of the drastic flood? To further cement this scary thought, the Rapa Nui people were interviewed regarding the excellence of the Moai statues. When they were asked about the origin of such superior engineering knowledge, they revealed that the Moai were built to honor their ancestors. In the words of the locals, the knowledge was passed on to them. But who are these ancestors? How was such knowledge passed through such wide time gaps? Did the flood truly wipe away everyone aside from Noah and his descendants? With further research, scientists began to debunk Churchward's evidence and his claims of the Mu civilization. Many cited the fact that an entire advanced civilization cannot be destroyed out of the blue. There should be substantial remains, both visibly and on Earth's surface. When they could not find substantial geological evidence of such an existence, the theory began to sink underground. However, we must remember, when there is smoke, a fire is burning somewhere. If the fire is not the Mu civilization, it could be something else. Even worse, what if the ancient civilization wiped out by the flood was not human-like at all? You know, when the topic of an ancient civilization comes up, many like to think up great pictures. Perhaps they were like humans, but in a different way. But is that really the case? What if the ancient civilization wiped out by the flood were entirely different from humans in every way? What if they were animals? Enter the dinosaurs, but not as you know them. For over a century, dinosaurs have been branded as huge, instinct-driven beasts. Massive, yes, but not intelligent, just evolutionary dead ends. But what if we've had it all wrong? In 2021, paleontologist Diego Pol led a study on the Maiasaura, a herbivorous dinosaur long dismissed as ordinary. What he found changed everything. These dinosaurs didn't just roam, They returned to the same nesting grounds annually. This instinctive behavior suggested memory, environmental awareness, and even strategic thinking. What's more, they lived in cooperative societies. The males guarded nests while the young foraged for food. They planned, they organized. It was obvious that these species weren't just surviving, they were thriving. And they weren't the only ones. Among the fossil record, another species stands out like a glitch in the simulation, the Troodon. They are small, fast, bird-like, and disturbingly clever. It had a brain-to-body ratio comparable to mammals, binocular vision, and grasping hands, traits that point to cooperative hunting, tool use, and problem-solving. Little wonder that paleontologist Dale Russell and other researchers began to propose a shocking idea. If not for the cataclysm that occurred millions of years ago, Troodon may have evolved into a humanoid, that is, a being capable of complex speech, culture, and technology. Sounds crazy, right? Maybe. But consider this. What really wiped them out? Mainstream science blames an asteroid for the extinction of dinosaurs. But what if the final blow wasn't from above, but from below? For a long time, massive floods have been triggered by melting glaciers, shifting tectonics, or even celestial interference, like in the biblical story. And each version of the flood story has rewritten Earth's surface multiple times. Could one such flood, like the ones described in ancient myths, have erased not just any random species, but the dinosaur civilization? If intelligent dinosaurs once walked the Earth, what if their cities are buried deep beneath rock, sea, and time? Even worse, what if the floodwaters wiped them away? One thing is true, when cities sink, they take their secrets with them. But thanks to modern sonar scans and underwater archaeology, those secrets are starting to surface. In the Gulf of Cambay, off the coast of India, marine researchers discovered what appeared to be massive geometric structures, streets, foundations, and grid-like patterns, you name it. And these were found more than 100 feet beneath the water. Some estimates place them at 9,000 years old, centuries before the Indus Valley civilization even existed. On the other hand, there's Yonaguni, a massive rock off the coast of Japan. Beneath the waves lies a staircase-like formation, terraces, pillars, and flat surfaces cut at near-perfect right angles. Mainstream archaeologists call it natural. But divers, researchers, and even geologists like Dr. Masaki Kimura insist the lines are too precise to be accidental. And in Dwarka, India's legendary sunken city, archaeologists found walls and artifacts where mythology said Krishna once ruled, before the sea swallowed his kingdom. Think about it. Are these just freak geological events? Or are they submerged memories? It gets even more interesting. Most of these sites lie under thick layers of silt and debris. This means that they weren't just covered by rising tides. Rather, they were hit suddenly. If these cities were coastal, they may have fallen victim to glacial meltwater surges or even ancient tsunamis. These are known events capable of raising sea levels dramatically in a matter of days. According to the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis, a comet fragment could have triggered sudden climate change around 12,800 years ago, melting ice sheets and flooding coastlines worldwide. So the flood is no longer a myth or some slow erosion. It's a planet-wide wipeout. What else is still out there, hidden in the deep? If the former pieces of evidence shook you, brace yourself for more. In recent times, satellite imaging has picked up strange formations off the coasts of Cuba, Bimini, and Egypt. Bear in mind that these are places legends already linked to lost cities like Atlantis or Heracleon. Most of them remain either unexplored, dismissed, or classified. But if the ruins under our oceans match the ruins on land, and if their age defies the accepted timeline, then we're not just talking about local disasters. We're talking about the destruction of an entire global network. Yes, these could be footprints of the Great Flood. But there is a slight problem. In the search for evidence of the destruction of advanced civilization, most researchers focus on more tangible proof, things they can see and feel. Since the human brain is wired to believe things that are more physically tangible, this has been the focus. However, there remains an untapped niche that could expose everything about the pre-flood civilization, their knowledge. It's one thing to find ruins. It's another to discover that the people who built them may have known more than we do. Ancient texts, forbidden tablets, and unexplained artifacts suggest that pre-flood civilizations weren't just piling stones, they were busy inventing so much more. For example, let's take the Sumerians, who were credited as the first civilization. Yet their earliest writings already include complex astronomical knowledge, advanced mathematics, and references to planets that we humans discovered millennia later. How did their first step look like our 50th? In Egypt, the Dendera lights carved into temple walls resemble vacuum tubes or arc lamps. At Tiahuanaco, Bolivia, the gate of the sun is covered in what some say is a solar calendar more accurate than ours, and the mysterious Antikythera mechanism found in a Greek shipwreck is a mechanical computer dated over 2,000 years ago. However, researchers believe it was based on much older designs, perhaps salvaged knowledge from a forgotten age.